We're Californians.
We believe in great schools.
Taking care of our seniors.
Clean air and water. Compassionate care for those who need it.
Affordable higher education.
Health care for kids.
These are California values.
These are our values.
Our California values are reflected in our state's budget.
It's not just a document.
It's a blueprint for our state values. It makes a difference whether I can go to college.
It makes a difference whether my kids get health care.
It makes a difference whether I get a pink slip or get to teach my kids.
It makes a difference if I get care in my home or in a nursing home where I don't want to be.
It's our state budget.
It's about our values.
California values.
How did we get into this mess? Republican tax cuts, for starters.
If we didn't have the tax cuts that we've had over about the last decade, we would not be in the situation we're in. We would have a much, much smaller deficit.
It's one of those things that if you're willing to cut taxes in good times, you should be willing to use them to bridge the gap in bad times.
In fact, if the Republicans didn't push tax cuts, we'd have no budget deficit. But unfortunately, Republicans can hold up the budget.
Out of 50 states, California is only one of 3 states where it takes 2/3 of the legislators to pass a budget. The other states in this situation are Rhode Island and Arkansas. Now here we are, the world's 8th largest economy, and the fact that it takes 2/3 vote to balance our budget, that's one of the reasons we're in this problem every year.
That means just a few Republicans can say no and the budget's held hostage. Even though a budget is due on July 1st, the end of the fiscal year, Republicans have held the budget back for months, year after year after year. Last year, it was August 21st. In 2002, it was August 31st. This year, the state is expected to run out of cash by mid-August. And although the Democrats are hard at work balancing the budget, Republicans are balking again. They've rolled back corporate tax rates by $2 billion. They've refused to close tax loopholes that could result in a loss of just over $2 billion to the state. They stand by yacht owners, allowing their tax loophole to continue, losing $22 million there. They're standing by big oil as well, allowing them to extract oil in the state without paying a severance tax. The loss there, $970 million. Owners of luxury vacation homes are also protected by the Republicans. The loss there, $70 million. A total of over $5 billion in lost revenue for the state. So now what? Governor Schwarzenegger says he has a plan. It's all about deep cuts to our schools, to the most vulnerable Californians, and to the services families rely on. Here's what the governor wants to do. Almost $4 billion in cuts to education, $3 billion less for health and human services, deep cuts to Medi-Cal, reducing funding for healthy families, eliminating cash for children in the CalWorks program, and cuts $828 million for public transit. All in all, $11.4 billion in cuts to an already slimmed-down state budget.
We have to do whatever we can to close this gap, but one thing that we can't do is you cannot close a $17 billion hole through cutting programs that Californians want. We, over the last few years, have cut a variety of different programs. We've cut away the fat, we've cut away the meat, and frankly, we're at the bones.
And then there's the governor's lottery scheme, one the nonpartisan legislative budget analyst calls risky for our schools.
If we go forward with an all-cuts budget, we're looking at deep cuts to our public schools at a time when the governor's own Committee on Education Excellence says we need to be spending $10 billion a year more.
To propose cuts to education when education itself is in a state of crisis, I think we're leading our children in the wrong direction.
Democrats continue to stand up for education, for health care, to make sure our parks are open, the air is clean, fighting for the quality of life that Californians demand.
Democrats are also looking at the long term, so this doesn't happen again. Assembly Speaker Karen Bass is proposing a bipartisan commission on tax modernization to redesign our tax system from the 1900s for the 21st century.
We need to look at the overall tax structure because our tax structure was put in place in the 1930s for an economy that doesn't even exist anymore.
So what can you do now? Tell your legislators what you think. Democrats need to hear you support their efforts to fund our schools. Go to adc.asm.ca.gov/issues/budget and sign our petition. Take action and contact the governor and the Republican legislators as well. You can use the same website to discover who your representative is simply by entering your zip code. Let them know what you think.
That's why it's so important for us to come together to find a solution for our state's budget challenge.
Because it's about our families,
Our state.
our future.